Okay, today I want to go over some more battle reports. And this time I want to show you some that happened during this latest SVS. Show you some things that were important, and also one correction that I missed before. I want to show you a full research what it looks like. So this is full research when everything has been done. The overall troop attack, health, defense, and lethality is 47.25, and all of the individual for infantry, hunters, and riders are all at 111.75. So when you see this, this means that all of their normal standard research is 100% complete, and this is the basis in which we're looking at it. Now, keep in mind this is a sliding scale, so the closer you get to complete, the bigger chunks of this that you get done. So that doesn't mean that if you're halfway there, let's say that you're at 55%, that you're 50% done. It actually means that you're less than 50% done, because the largest chunk of this is done in the last couple of branches as opposed to the first couple. So let's take a look at that real quick just so you understand that, because it's really important to understand these percentages when you read someone's thing, to know how, when you read someone's report, scout, to understand how that affects you. So I'm going to take you into the report here, the stats, and we're just going to kind of glance at them. Your research, okay, that's what we're going for. So we go into research, and let's look at the battle research. So as you can see way over here on the left, when you first start this, you're only doing a couple of percent. So all three levels of your research, and you are getting like basically 4%. Way over here on the right, when you do this last one, and you do like 12 of 12, you're getting 36% of that 111. So the 111 comes from the three that you see here. The other ones come from total defense, and totals comes from these here, the ones in the middle that are shared between all of your troops, and they apply to all of your troops. So it's really important to understand that concept of 50% isn't 50%. 50% is more like 10% of your research, because those last couple are really big and they're very expensive. They're very difficult to get through. As you can see here, I've still got a few left to do. Let's see if I could show you some, show you them under talents of doing research, since you don't get obscure numbers. Let's say, for example, doing the last one of, last two of this one here, this one's 14 days, but it's only 3%. That 3% takes 14 days, whereas that very first research was about 10 minutes maybe for all of them. So you get the same 3% down there. So it is really skewed on how hard these get towards the end. Okay, enough said about that. I just wanted you to understand that, so when you're reading these reports that you get that. Now let's get into this past SVS. I had a perfect scenario that I wanted to go over with you, and it gave the perfect case of what's going on. It's not showing my favorites. Why not? There they are. Okay. So this was what was going on. I went into a hive and I scouted a couple of guys here. So, scouting these guys, I usually take a look at them for a few things. One, for what type of troops do they have? I immediately noticed the gear here is blue. I noticed they have P2 troops. P2 troops and T10s, not bad, but that blue gear makes them, an instant target, even at 600,000. You don't even, and then you look down here at this and you've got 60%, which means they basically don't even have 50% of their tree. And if you use it on a sliding scale, it's really even less than that. So the research is fairly low on this particular one. And then you can see here how they have their talent points set. They're obviously set to war talents. And so that applies some additional percentages. Then we move on to the next one here. He's got quite a few troops, and he's got some reinforcements. So when you see reinforcements, keep in mind from the previous videos that when you're defending, or when they're defending, they get the best stats available. Now that means the highest HQ or the highest stats that you have in your troop list here. So in this case, we have Silver Fox, and it just so happens that Vertigo is who's defending him up here when I hit him in a few seconds. So as you can see here, Vertigo has the gold and 1 purple, and this one has all purple and 2 gold. Now, it's really a shame here to do something like this with these gears, because what happens when you get into these gears, when you get into using the gears, there's bonuses for having all of the gears in place. And so the idea is that the more of those that you have in place, the more bonuses that you get for them. So let's go back to, it applies more to chief gears than it does to hero gears, but you get the idea. So then I looked at Capone here, Caratoni, or however you want to say his name. And I noticed he's got, 890,000 troops. He's got some purple and blue gears. T9s is an immediate sign of, hello, please hit me. This 900,000 troops doesn't count for hardly anything once you do that. Once you see those T9s in there, somebody like this, where they haven't been upgrading, so they build T9s, they build T8s, they build T7s, they build T6, and they just kind of let them die off because they figure, quote, it's more important to have more troops than it is to have strong troops, is absolutely wrong. I can tell you, when I see something like this, this becomes an instant target for me, because this is a mass quantity of death on a stick. So here he's got himself and Vertigo with the gold gears, and he's put some T11 infantry in there and a couple of T10 troops in here for the P5s and a P6 T11. Now, normally that would make me a little bit nervous, but because there's T10s or T9s there is 900,000 units there that is just going to die before anything happens to anybody else. The 47,000 infantry will do something to slow me down a slight bit, but it's not going to hurt me, because you've got to remember, when you're going into a battle, it is infantry versus infantry to see who runs out first. Infantry takes all of the damage. So what you want to make sure you have is enough infantry to take all of their hit and allow your hunters and riders to do all the damage to them. Now we can see this when we get up here to the battle. So let's take a look at the first battle. This rally attack, I did a rally because I was a little nervous about him having that gold gear. I wasn't sure how it was going to affect it. It looked like my first gut instinct to hit this guy was absolutely right, as you can see here for the damage. We took a measly 18,000 troops, got hurt, and he took 399,000, almost 400,000 troops got either dead or wounded once his hospital filled up. Now, as you can see, just going a little bit below here, that plasma cannon did 5,000 of that damage. So really, we only took about 13,000 with the battle. Now, you can see here that Vertigo's stats, because he was defending, his stats are stronger. So when I hit this guy, Vertigo was sent home, leaving him completely undefended. And as you can see here with the difference in the color, I assumed at this point, I go into this report here, and I look at this, and I see he lost 187,000 and 150,000 filled his hospital. So now I know his hospital's full and everything's going to be deaths from this point on. Vertigo also lost, and it's much more rare to see injuries in your reinforcements than it is to see them in your actual troops. And this is when it becomes just overpoweringly smashed. Now you can see here we hit with a lot of troops, and you can see in this report here, this is showing that we only took 69,000 billion shielded, where they had to shield 157 billion power. Now, if we watch this replay, what you'll see is that our infantry stays very much in control the entire battle. And so you'll see here in that top line how his infantry runs out right here at about, looks like it was about 7 or 8 rounds of battle. Now, from this point forward, he's got nothing to take that damage. So what's going to happen is his troops are going to start dying in massive numbers. And as you can see here, that's exactly what happens. It takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more hits, and he's completely gone. And we still have, of that, you can see on that top number there, 356 from 396, basically 40,000 infantry is all we needed to successfully do that. So at this point, if I wanted to hit him again, I could hit him with as little as 40,000 infantry and put the rest in hunters. So now I probably didn't take that much time when I did this attack. So this first one, I thought, okay, well, let's just solo him and see what happens. So I sent out an attack on him. And if we go and look at the makeup of these troops here, he had again had 1.14 million troops. Again, he got a little bit of a reinforcement. And so I was hitting him in exchange for him protecting that guy. So this, what ends up happening here is I take 67,000 losses, but he takes 121,000 losses. And so it's significantly bigger. Now, my calculation in my mind is, looking at this replay, as I did this hit, as you can see, there's not much but a few seconds there between this hit and the next hit, because I quickly made up my mind just based on looking at this report here, with him losing 148,000 units, and his reinforcements being sent home. I knew that I had this guy. It most likely would have this guy on another solo. So what I most likely did is just sent another hit. Now you can see here on this replay. Oh yeah, the replay we already did. So now we go to the next one, and I solo again very quickly, not giving him time to get reinforcements in. Now, one of the big things to note is that in this particular hit, we go down here and we look at the troops that were there, and he still got his reinforcements in, but he took tremendous amount of loss this time, 294,000 losses and 29,000 in this. The big difference is that you'll notice that I'm the one that had surviving troops this time and not them. Now he doesn't have the numbers because all of those T9s are just not capable of producing enough damage to knock me out, to stop. And if we look at this battle report and watch my infantry, I reduced it down to 120,000. And then you can see here he's got 137. And I still, as I said before, could have gotten away with a lot less, but I didn't take that chance. So here you can see we are at about 60,000, coming up on 70,000. Now, the one thing that's really important to note right at this point here is that between 50 and 120,000 is 70,000 infantry that I needed to do this. And I had said earlier that it could be about 40,000. Keep in mind, that was with 1 million troops that were attacking him, as opposed to this is only my troops attacking him. So not only do I not have all of those big numbers behind me to hit him, like here I've got 120, 16,000, 58,000. In that particular attack, I had a tremendous amount of troops. You can see down in that hunter column, it's 420, 319, 396. So there was a lot more troops doing the damage. The big kicker here is as they lose troops, this started to turn way in the favor. And even my loss, and this is something you want to watch for in RR and watch for it very close, even in my loss, I won. So this attack, I lost 12 million BP. They lost 15 million BP. Now, in an RR, I would have the same size hit with a solo the next time as I did the first time. They won't have the same number of troops. So this is where you can get into an RR and you can see somebody losing, thinking they're winning, and you're hitting them and they're losing, but they're not burning. but you realize they're losing. And sometimes you can hit them 3 or 4 times before it starts to turn into this kind of a battle here, where they take 324 on that one, and then the last one we do it again, and he takes another 247 and plus 42. Looks like he got some of his wounded back, or he got reinforcements is more likely what happened. Yeah, so the reinforcements came, and that guy didn't want to watch him get zeroed. So it's important in this case to watch these battle reports, even if you glance at them, see the basic things about them, watch the numbers, because even a loss in this case was the key for me to know when it's just a bloodfest, just slugfest, just beating each other up. These are the kind of things you want to watch for, and that's what you're looking for in RR. You might not be looking for it in Capital. In this particular case, it was a little bit of a grudge fest over there with these guys, so I was looking for a little bit of blood. But that's it for today. Comment below, make sure you subscribe, and like the video. We'll see you next time.